Okay, so this is another lesson after factoring the difference of two squares. Now this time, meron tayong factoring a perfect square trinomial. So dun sa factoring the difference of two squares, binomial lang yun, 'di ba? For example, x squared minus 4. So laging dalawang terms lang. However, kapag factoring a perfect square trinomial, from the word itself, trinomial, tatlo yung ating terms. So, looking at our example, meron tayong a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So, meron tayong 1, 2, and 3 terms. Kaya siya trinomial. Okay? So, paano natin i-factor ang isang perfect square trinomial? So, we will follow the following steps. Step 1, extract the square root of the first and the third term. So, our first term is a squared and the third term is b squared. The square root of a squared is a, diba? And the square root of b squared is b. Yun na yun. And then, step 2, write the square roots in a bracket, then separate them using the sign of the middle or second term. So, tingnan muna natin yun, ha. So, meron na tayong square roots, a at saka b. And then, ang susundin daw natin na sign niya is kung ano yung sign ng middle term natin. So, since ito ay plus, so plus ang ilalagay natin mamaya. So, anong gagawin? Gumawa ng bracket. So, ito yung ating bracket. Ilalagay natin dito sa bracket yung nakuha nating roots. So, ang nakuha natin ay a at saka b. So, lagay natin dito yung a. And then, sa kabila naman ay yung b. And then, nagawa na natin ito. Separate them using the sign of the middle term. The middle term has a plus sign. So, plus ang ilalagay natin dito. And then, put a square or exponent of 2 outside the bracket. So, exponent of 2 outside the bracket. And then, this is your answer. Diba? Madali lang. So, a plus b squared. So, paano natin malalaman? Ito lang yung challenge natin. Paano natin malalaman kung siya ba ay factoring a perfect square trinomial? So, paano natin makikilala yung trinomial na siya ay perfect square? So, there is a technique. So, for example, meron tayong a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay. So, una yung titingnan is, unang tanong is the first and third term perfect square. Wait lang. R pala, sorry. So, are the first and third terms perfect square? So, tingnan natin kung perfect square ba yung a squared at saka b squared. So, perfect square naman ng a squared kasi ang kanyang square root ay a. And then, b squared is also the square root of b squared is b. Okay. And then, next question. If I multiply the roots and then times 2, will I get the middle term? Okay, wait lang ha. Yan lang. So, kapag daw ba, diba, ang root ng a squared ay a. Ang root ng b squared ay b. So, kapag ba pinag-multiply ko yung a at saka yung b, tapos tinimes ko siya sa 2, ang makukuha ko ba ay 2ab. So, a times b is ab. Times 2, siya ay, wala na ko ng keyboard. Wait lang. Ayan. So, if I multiply a times b, that's a b times 2, that is 2ab. So, nakuha naman natin yung 2ab. Okay? Pareho namang positive yung A natin eh. Tsaka yung B. So, that will give us positive 2AB. Now, if you answered yes to both these questions, ibig sabihin, indeed, the trinomial is a perfect square. Okay? So, pwede natin siyang isolve using these steps. Very easy lang yan, di ba? We have step 1, extract the square root of the first and the third terms. And then, wait lang. And then write the square root in a bracket, then separate them using the sign of the middle or second term. Then put a square or exponent of 2 outside the bracket. So let's try one more example. So I have example number 2. Let's say I have, hanap tayo ng medyo mahirap-hirap. Ito ay nasa libro ninyo ha. Page 49. So, page 49 of your book. Example number 1 siya sa book. So, I have x squared plus 10x plus 25. So, before we do the steps, I mentioned kanina, let us try to recognize muna if this trinomial is indeed a perfect square. Diba? You have to ask yourself 2 questions. The first question was, are the first and the third terms perfect square? Okay, so tingnan natin. Perfect square ba ang x squared? Yes, kasi ang kanyang square root ay x. And then, perfect square ba ang 25? Yes, kasi ang kanyang square root ay 5. So, nasatisfy niya yung question number 1. How about question number 2? Ang question number 2 is, kapag ba minultiply ko yung roots na x at saka 5, tapos tinimes ko pa sa 2, ang makukuha ko ba ay 10x? So, tingnan natin. So, x times 5, ito yon, and then times 2. So, x times 5 is 5x, times 2, that is 10x. Since pareho namang positive yung x and 5, so, plus 10x siya, positive 10x. So, nakuha naman natin, na-satisfy din natin yung question number 2. And then, tsaka tayo magpo-proceed sa ating extraction or sa factoring. So, paano natin ma-factor ito? Nagawa na natin yung first step kasi kinuha na natin yung square root ng first term at saka ng last term. So, pagkakuha natin ng square root na yan, proceed na tayo sa step 2. Mag-o-open na lang kayo ng bracket. Sulat niyo yung x at saka yung 5. And then, copy nyo lang yung sign ng middle term which is positive. And then, you put a square sign, a square exponent on the outside. And this is your final answer. Okay? One more. Let's try one more. Example number 3. Punta tayo sa page 3. Example number 3. Hirapan natin ng konti. Nandito pa dito sa book nyo, page 50. Page 50. I have 16 m squared plus 24 m plus 9. So, let's look at the questions muna if it satisfies the perfect square trinomial. So, tingnan natin ulit ang first term at saka ang third term kung sila ay perfect square. Perfect square ba ang 16m squared? Yes, kasi ang square root ng 16 ay 4. And then, ang square root ng m squared ay m. Okay. And then, 9 naman here on the other side is also a perfect square, diba? Kasi ang square root niya ay 3. Okay, so meron tayong 4m at saka 3. So, that satisfies the first question. And then the second question that you have to ask yourself is kapag ba minultiply natin yung 4m sa 3, so 4m times 3, at i-multiply ulit natin sa 2, laging 2, siya ba ay magiging plus 24m? So tingnan natin. So we have positive 4m times 3, that is what? 12m. 12m times 2, that is 24m. So 24m ba yung nasa gitna? Yes. So therefore, this also satisfies the second question. And then we will just write a bracket and then write our factors or the square roots. We have 4m and 3. And then we write the sign of the middle term, which is plus. And then lagyan natin ng 2 sa labas. And then this is our final answer. Okay? So if you're still confused, you can go ahead and look at other examples on your book found on page 50. And then, to practice, go ahead and try to answer mastery check on page 51. Answer mastery check, accuracy, letter A, numbers 1 to 3, and then letter B, numbers 1 to 3 then. Okay? So, again, this lesson is about factoring a perfect square trinomial. If you have any question, you can always ask me. Thank you very much.